I'm Shae Russell for mining.com.au, and joining me today is Peter Moorhouse, the Managing Director for Basin Energy. Peter, great to see you. Welcome aboard. How are you?
Perfect. Thanks, Shae. Great to be part of the show today, and thanks for the opportunity to talk to you all and the people listening.
Well, I'm always happy to talk to a uranium explorer, and it seems like this is what you're very good at doing. But for everybody who's not familiar with Basin Energy, can you give me a little bit of a rundown of what Basin Energy does?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, Basin Energy, we've been around for a couple of years now. We IPO'd on the ASX under BSN. Initially, we went out as a pure play uranium explorer. We founded the company really around good people and good projects. Our initial project or portfolio was three opportunities in the Athabasca Basin, where we really had some strict technical credentials or technical criteria to explore for styles of uranium mineralization, either traditional or slightly different, and slightly different drawn on ideas bought from the team behind us. So a group of people who have looked at a lot of exploration projects around the world, mostly uranium, but also in a variety of green metals. So we've been very active in the basin for the last 2 years, and look, it's fair to say I'm extremely proud of the team's work and what we have found over there. So we've been drilling at our Geeky project, identified what we see as the edges of a seriously exciting system there. So what we've got is little bits of uranium, low-grade levels of uranium, proof that there's uranium in this system, big structures, massive sets of alteration, so all the key ingredients for what you're looking for one of these big Canadian-style Athabasca deposits. We have a series of targets which need following up on that, so we are ready to go and chipping away in the background as to how to advance that the best for shareholders. And a couple of other projects which are a little bit deeper, which again we're looking at ways of unlocking. So Basin, we are relatively new, only a couple of years old, nice tight capital structure. We're only got a $3 to $4 million market cap at the moment with a couple of $1 million in the bank. But built around good people, good science, and good exploration.
Peter, you've had a really busy third quarter. Sort of what of the recent activities did you complete during this period?
Yeah, it has been a phenomenally busy period behind the scenes and perhaps not outwardly looking. At the start of the quarter, we received most of our exploration results from the winter program in Canada. So I mentioned the results already for Geeky there, but really pulling that apart. And the other big one for the Athabasca was the identification of what is what we like to say a classic unconformity style. So when I say unconformity, I mean the big McArthur River style uranium deposits. What we've got is a classic signature there in our ground electromagnetic surveys for a target that needs drilling. Now, this is a bit deeper. We're talking 800 meters depth, so it is more of a challenge to do so. But it is a significant outcome, and the work that's gone into that has been big. As I mentioned earlier, the company has been about looking for opportunities which are explorable and technically credible, and we have been doing that since IPO. And we're pretty excited to, in the quarter, finalise or seal a deal on the acquisition of a portfolio of ground in Scandinavia. Now, this is a little bit more agnostic with regards to commodity. So there is some historic uranium in the portfolio, also some evidence for gold mineralization, silver, and potentially some base metals. But we came across this and really saw as an opportunity to add value to shareholders by having what we think is technically credible, shallow, so opportunities either subcropping or just underneath glacials, and largely overlooked. A lot of this ground hasn't really had any exploration done since the local or national geological surveys had a play with them in the 1980s. So they had some wins where rocks were outcropping, but very little exploration undercover. So we saw this as an opportunity to bolster the portfolio, to add an opportunity for a little bit of diversity, both in commodity and jurisdiction, and provide shareholders with a wider spectrum of news flow moving forward. So busy quarter, a lot of work in the Athabasca in the background, a lot of work doing Project DD and pulling together the Scandinavian acquisition. So busy.
In future conversations, actually, I'd like to pull apart your recent move into Scandinavia because that sounds super interesting. But what all of this activity tells me, there's a lot of boots on the ground and there's a lot of work happening in the background. Does that mean that we can expect to hear a lot from Basin Energy over the coming months?
Yeah, absolutely. We announced the deal last day of last month. We've already subsequently followed up there. We've got guys in the field at the moment. So look, the first phase, as anyone will pick the portfolio apart, there is a series of projects there, and they all need a level of verification from some of that old work that was done. So we've got boots on the ground doing fundamental work, going and looking at mapping, looking at this mineralization which has been picked up, looking at where the potential extensions for that would be, mapping, rock chip sampling. But the great thing about these jurisdictions, Shae, is that we've got core libraries, we've got big sheds, big hangars of historic core, which the guys can go in and review. So even in these winter months, which we're coming into now, when we can't do that field work, opening those sheds up and logging that core, sampling where appropriate, running over spectrometers, and really setting a new set of eyes to release value is going to be a part of that. So, as you rightly mentioned, their news flow, it's incredibly busy. We are very excited to be able to update the market moving forward on that on a project by project basis. Our initial work, which we announced a couple of days ago, was started at Virka. So Virka is one of our most northern projects. And we'll have rock chip results from that. We have some prospecting results. We'll have core reviews as well. And then subsequently for some of the other projects as well, probably Prastron will be next to move into. But yeah, lots to happen. And then furthermore, we'll look at opportunities for expanding that portfolio where we think we can add value. So there's certainly options there that we will assess over the next few weeks.
Sounds like there is a treasure trove of knowledge to be discovered from those core sheds. So that is absolutely another thing we're going to have to talk about going forward. I want to thank you so much for being here today. There's clearly a lot happening at Basin Energy. So next time we speak, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts or the rocks of it, if you will.
Look forward to it, Shae. Perfect. Thanks for your time, man.